Want a sword? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband, Evan Carmichael. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Stop settling for less.
For those of you loyal viewers, you've known that when I was in high school, I thought I was going to be a banker. It was in my high school yearbook, and I had the opportunity to become a banker, earn $80,000, $100,000 starting salary at the company that I wanted to work at. And I said no to become an entrepreneur when I was making $300 a month because I didn't want to live with regret that I made the wrong decision. And it felt right. And I think this is a challenge for a lot of people because I feel like people know when something doesn't feel right. I feel like I feel like somewhere that this isn't the right thing to do. You're just too scared to do the right thing, or you don't know what the right thing is. You just know that what you're doing right now is not the right thing. And if you don't know where to jump to, then it can be really scary. And it's having the courage to move forward on a path that's unknown versus taking the safe path that is known but doesn't feel right. And I think that's where most people fall down. Like, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and I get that, it's totally cool. But people do have dreams, people do have aspirations, and they're not realizing them, and they're stuck in a job that they hate, or a life that they hate, or a relationship that they hate, or an environment that they hate, because it's just okay. It's not bad enough to make them want to leave, but just because it's okay, it means that they don't strive for something much greater. And if they don't know where they want to go, you don't have that clear vision for where you want to go, then it's massively scary to have the courage to go out and take that leap. And I think one is just having the awareness and hearing different people say that you shouldn't settle for a mediocre life. That if you feel like you want to do something more, that you at least owe it to yourself to do it. So you're not that 80-year-old sitting back on your deathbed thinking, man, I wish I did more with my life. I wish I had changed my dream. And then 2, recognize that it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. Like, if you don't like your life right now, or part of it, your job or your relationship or something, you don't have to just quit and then move on to something else. That can work for some people, but I'm in the school of thought of just start trying stuff part-time. Like, try it for an hour a day. It doesn't have to be something massively radical and crazy. And I think if you can get your head around that, then it reduces the fear, reduces the uncertainty, and then hopefully gets you a little bit excited, because you want to be excited about the dream thing that you're often chasing. And so I would echo the point that if you are not happy with something in your life, I kind of try to live by this. If I'm not happy with something for too long, my schedule, my work environment, something, if I'm not excited, not even not happy, if I'm not excited by something for too many days in a row, then something has to change. I change my schedule around constantly. I have some core principles, but I'll change it around based on what's happening in my life. And I don't think people are static beings. Like, things will change in your life, and if you don't adapt and grow as things and change and as you grow, then you're gonna feel out of place, then you're gonna feel unhappy and unsatisfied. And so your life is never perfect. It's just constantly evolving, and you need to catch up to it as you change, that you change your life alongside with you. And stop settling for okay. Stop settling for mediocrity. Stop settling for just good. If you're not happy with something in your life, accept responsibility and start making some changes. It doesn't have to be all in. Just start right now.
Rule number 2, act on it right now.
The first thing most people do after they make a decision is they plan, they strategize, they tinker, they think, and it's the worst thing you can do. Here's why. You make a bold decision. You say, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go off and do this crazy, amazing thing. And then you go home and you think of all the ways that it can happen, and you start planning and strategizing. It's amazing. You feel great. And then you wake up tomorrow and you're a different person. You wake up tomorrow a different person, and that person said, you can't do that. You can't follow through on that. Who are you to take on that big idea? And then nothing happens. Nothing happens. And so the solution after you get an immediate idea is action.
Don't worry about planning. Even imperfect action, just action. Because you need to build it into your nervous system that you're the kind of person who follows through. Because you need to make some commitment so that by the time you wake up tomorrow, you've committed to following through. That's the biggest problem. I call it the 2% difference. So what most people will do is they'll plan to 100%. You get an idea, you gotta plan, you gotta go home, you gotta plan. You gotta plan all the way to the end. And it's amazing, and you think about it, it's such a great place to live in as entrepreneurs, as perfectionists, as over planners. We love living in that world. Don't worry about planning to 100%. Instead, find the 2% difference. What can you do right now to get 2% of the way? If you don't get 2% of the way immediately through action, you will never get to 100% of the way. So an example, I'm sitting here, standing here, walking here on the streets of San Francisco. I'm in the middle of my 90-day tour across 23 cities. This thing started because I committed to my wife that I was gonna take her to every city in North America with 1 million plus people. It was a warm summer day, and I said, Nina, we're gonna go to every city in North America with 1 million plus people. It was a Wednesday afternoon. So what was the first step? It's not going home and planning to see how many cities are there. I didn't even know how many cities are there. No idea. It's not planning about how is Nina gonna leave her job because she had a full-time job. It's not planning about how long it's gonna take. None of that. Don't go home and start researching that. It's the wrong first step. The first step is, what's the one city that I can hit immediately? It's Wednesday afternoon. What's one city I can go to this weekend to start building immediate momentum, the 2% difference? And so I said Boston. I thought Boston was the closest city to us that we hadn't both been to, and so I said, Nina, this weekend we go to Boston. It's Wednesday. On Friday, after your work, I'm gonna pick you up and we're gonna go to Boston. And then I brought Danny and his business partner at the time, my camera guys, to help us film it. That was the start, immediate action. So here's what happens when you do that. When you go up to the 2% difference, you go idea to action, idea to action, idea to action. You start training it, you start burning into your nervous system, you start building momentum, and then, this is the magic thing, your head starts working with your heart. Your head, instead of talking you down from doing the crazy thing, starts thinking, holy crap, we committed to this, now I have to figure out a way to do it. Now I'm going to Boston. Now I got to figure out what am I going to do in Boston? Who am I going to connect with in Boston? Where are we going to stay in Boston? How are we going to get to Boston? What's our itinerary going to look like in Boston, right? Your head now starts working with you alongside your crazy vision instead of the other way around. Because often you make a decision feeling bold, amazing, unstoppable, and then your head talks you down from it. So I believe that the decisions that you make when you're feeling bold are actually the right ones for you. The decisions that you make when you're feeling bold, unstoppable, crazy, confident, you decide you're gonna do something, those are actually the right ones for you, and then your head gets to work and telling you why you can't do it. 99% of the rest of your life is your head telling you that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not capable enough, that you don't have the skills, beliefs, mindset, the resources to be able to do it, right? That's the problem. So you make a decision, and then the immediate thing you have to do is do the 2% difference. Take immediate action on that thing. Don't go home and plan. Don't plan to 100%. The 2% difference, immediate action, train yourself. Idea, action, idea, action, idea, action. Don't judge the idea. Don't think it's crazy or too big or you have to go research it. Don't. Just act on it right now.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've created a special free program called 254 because the science says that it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So what I'm going to do is send you an unlisted video to your email every day for 254 days for free to help your confidence and self-belief shift forward. The link to join is in the description below.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
You can use rejection as fuel to help you go off and do something bigger and motivation to, I'm gonna prove them wrong.
It's gotta be your life's work. If you only had to write one book ever in your life, this is it, and it's gotta be amazing.
Rule number 3, get a belief supplement.
You have to stop telling yourself that you suck. This is the default mode that people live in, that you live in, is you're telling yourself that you suck. You get an idea, you want to do something, you've got an inspired idea to go change the world in some way, and then your head takes over and says all the reasons why you can't do it. And then you try to create something, a little moment of inspiration, and you try, you make your first video, you make your first sales call, you start pitching your idea, and then it doesn't work out. And then what's the self-talk back in the mirror? Like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you say? When you're just by yourself, when there's nobody around you, what do you say when you look at yourself in the mirror? And too often it's that you suck. You can't do this. And the distinction we need to make is that you just don't have the skill set yet. You suck at something doesn't mean that you suck as a human. When you fail, It just means you don't have the skill set yet. You got to get better. You got to practice. You got to train. Why did you think that you would be so great out of the gate? You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. How do you get better? By practicing. By having 10,000 videos on a channel, right? Practicing. People quit on YouTube after 3 videos, after 1 video. Like, how about you try for 100 before you start to judge yourself? It took me 350 videos public before I wasn't completely embarrassed by my videos. But I didn't look at my videos and say I suck as a human. It's like, man, I still suck at making videos. I'm still not good enough yet. I still can't get my message across. I still don't have the emotional commitment to my message. So many things that was wrong with my videos, but it never became, Evan Carmichael, you suck as a human being. It's like, okay, this is what's wrong, and I need to keep working on it to get better, to improve. I think most of you could get better than me super quick. I think your journey could be a lot faster than mine, from being shy and introverted, and you go back, awkward, go watch all my videos, go back to when I first started my channel, 2009, 2009, Nina? 2009, what year is it now? Yeah, 2009, April 2009? Man, go back and watch how bad those videos were as the journey. You could get there a lot faster. The only difference is you're starting something, not getting results, and feeling that you suck as a person, where I'm starting it and just recognize I don't have the skills yet to keep going. So you could be great. I like to say you've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. But you gotta find it, you gotta own it, and you gotta use it to serve the world. That's why you're here, that's why you're watching these videos, that's what entrepreneurs do, the best entrepreneurs. It's what you do, you're trying to create value, you're trying to help, you're trying to serve. Your purpose comes from your pain, right? You wanna help all the people who currently are who you used to be. And you can do that. You can shift them, and your story can inspire them, but only if you start doing something. So what are the hacks? What are some of the ways to actually make that shift, to stop believing your story, to stop living in the same cycle, in the same loop, in a downward path of feeling like it's hopeless, that it's never gonna happen for you? How do you get out of it? Well, one, you need to add the supplements to your life. And you know how you don't have enough vitamin D? You know how most people in North America don't get enough vitamin D, and you should take a vitamin D supplement? Or most people don't get enough omega-3 fatty acids, and so you take a supplement. You need to have a belief supplement. You need a daily belief supplement. And maybe you get that from these videos, which is why I created the Espresso series. Maybe you get it from something else, but it has to be daily. You have to have a daily belief supplement that you add to your life, because if it was already in your life, you wouldn't need a supplement, right? What's the idea of a supplement? You add it, you supplement it to your life because it's missing. Because for you to be the next you, for you to meet potential you, and to make it happen, and to be the Michael Jordan of the thing that you want to be great at, you don't have it yet. You've got the seeds inside you, but you don't have the belief. So you have to supplement with belief every day. Just like you should be taking your vitamin D supplement every day. we need a believe line of supplement for vitamin D. That'd be fun. You get your vitamin D and you get your belief all at once. You need to supplement with belief every day. It's got to be part of your daily routine. The second thing, though, I would say is pay attention to your words. Pay attention to the language you use. So the 3 triggers for me are scary, difficult, or hard. When I say those words, when I think those words, when I feel those words, when I write those words, it's a trigger for me to do, because that's my story. That's my old story. That is some bright sun. That is my old story, that I can't do it because it's scary. I can't do it because it's difficult. I can't do it because it's hard. And the identity shift that I have been making and continuing to make is that Evan Carmichael does difficult things. Evan Carmichael does scary things. Evan Carmichael does hard things. And that identity shift has changed my entire life. That has me doing a lot of things that I would never have previously done, that are in service of my mission, and that make me feel a lot more confident in myself, love myself more, and have more belief.
Rule number 4, expect to suck.
You have to expect to suck at the beginning. Just expect to suck. Whenever you're starting something, from the beginning, you're starting a new business idea, you're starting a new YouTube channel, you're launching a podcast, whatever it is, expect to suck. Most people never start because they expect to be great. And that's the problem. That is keeping you where you are. Your addiction to perfection is the disease that we need to solve, to cure, to help you get to where you want to go and what you know you're capable of doing. So in my Movement Makers program, we just started a 100 video challenge. 100 video challenge. You got to make 100 videos. Because I think people quit way too soon. I showed people in my group where I was at 100 videos. And I had a couple hundred views. I had 3 comments on my 100th video, 100 videos in. Then I showed Gary Vee's 100th video and he had 800 views or something and also 3 comments. And I think we just judge ourselves too harshly too soon. 100 videos in, I had a couple hundred views, Gary had 800 views, and you're expecting to be great from your first video. This is a real problem. We have to talk about this. I'm all for improvement and I'm all for being our own harshest critic, but there's not enough self-love built into the equation. You just think that you're going to be amazing from day one, and as a result, when you watch your first thing, you realize, wow, I didn't expect to suck that badly. You quit. I can't tell you how many people I've seen make videos, and because you know it looks good, right? You've seen other people's videos, so you know it looks good, and you think, I may not be that good, but I can be pretty good. I can do better than that person. And then you press record, and then you see how nervous and awkward and uncomfortable you are on camera. And then what? You delete the video, or you just hold on to it and never post it. That's the problem. I didn't like any of my videos until 350 public videos in. 350 public videos was when I finally liked one of my videos. Like, I'm not completely embarrassed by what I'm making right now. And it's that consistency and that follow through. And I think you can get there a lot faster than me, because I was introverted and shy and scared and afraid to get on the camera and all of it, and I just kept going. I think most people can get there faster than me, but it still requires doing the work. It still requires posting the videos, and it all stems from thinking that you're going to fail at the beginning. It doesn't mean that you're a failure as a human. Thinking that you're going to suck at the start, expecting to suck at the start, actually gives you the freedom to create, to make, to go, to do, to launch, to just do something. It doesn't mean that you suck as a human. It means you're amazing as a human. One of the guys in our challenge who's become a friend, Zandaman Smith, so he's doing his 100 videos. He wants to do 100 videos in 100 days. Here's a guy who procrastinated for a long time in making videos, who had only a couple videos up on his channel over a number of months, and finally decided, you know what, I need to do this. I need to stop being perfect. I need to start creating. So I'm going to take Evan's challenge of 100 videos inside Movement Makers, and I'm going to do them in 100 days. I want to do 100 videos in 100 days. And I was talking to him last night, and he was saying that he still wants it to be perfect. And it's okay to strive for perfection, but not at the expense of actually releasing. So he looks at his videos and he says, I want my videos to be like Brendan Burchard's videos. Okay, great. But don't expect to be Brendan Burchard from day one, right? That could be the ambition. That could be the, hey, I love how Brendan intros his videos, or I love the camera he's using, or I love the way he delivers his message, or I love the editing that he's got. That's great to be inspired by it, but to not judge yourself for where you are right now compared to where Brendan's at right now in his content creation. How long has Brendan been doing this for? And before YouTube, he was doing speaking, right? So how much practice does he have as a communicator? And to compare yourself right now to say, I'm not gonna release a video until it's Brendan Burchard level is ridiculous. But that's the problem that we find ourselves in. That's the trap that we find ourselves in. You know it looks good. You want to create at that level, but you don't have the skills yet to create at that level, and so you stop. And how do you develop those skills to get to that level? By doing the work. How do you develop the skills? You can't just read about making YouTube videos. You can't just read about doing squats, right? You can't just read about getting on a diet. You got to actually do the work. If you want to get the results, you actually got to do the work. If you want to develop the skill sets, you got to actually do the work. And that's the biggest thing most people are missing, because you don't want to suck. You're afraid that when it shows up, people are going to laugh at you. You're going to laugh at you. You're going to feel less confident because you want to make something great.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, decide to blow up.
You haven't decided to blow up because you're afraid to fail and disappoint people. And that fear means that you will take small risks. You'll take calculated risks. Risks that for other people might seem really big, but you know that you're playing small. And you'll grow, you'll make progress every year, a little bit bigger, but you'll never blow up because you're afraid. If you don't fix it, if you can't face that fear of potentially disappointing people, then you'll just stay on your current course instead of actually blowing up. And you need to decide if you're okay with that or not. I know because I'm talking about myself. I decided to do this tour. I decided to spend 90 days from January to April going to 23 different cities and helping entrepreneurs out in each city. And at the start, it was supposed to be just coffee shop meetups where I meet people at a coffee shop, say, hey, I'm coming to Pittsburgh. Hey, I'm coming to LA. Hey, I'm coming to Cincinnati. Let's meet at this coffee shop. And that's historically what I've done every time I've traveled. I went to New York, and a great problem to have was too many people showed up. And then ended up not being a fantastic experience because a lot of people couldn't hear me, because a lot of people didn't have seats to sit down in, and I didn't provide the experience that was great. I went to go meet my agent afterwards, and he said, the problem is you haven't decided to blow up. Problem is you're taking these small calculated risks that if you do a coffee shop meetup and nobody shows up, it's okay. And if 100 people show up, it's okay. You're not out anything. You're not risking anything. You're playing small. You're making these slow, steady gains, but you haven't decided to blow up. Okay? I want to blow up. How do I do it? I'm ready. You got to charge for the event. You got to do 23 events, and you got to charge for them. And right away, like, oh, that is scary, you know, because it comes against one of my greatest fears, which is disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint people. If it's a free coffee shop meetup and nobody shows up or one person shows up, I'm not disappointing anybody. But if I do a paid event and one person shows up, I don't want to disappoint that person. And that fear is the thing that has prevented me from blowing up more than I should, because all the risks that I take are small, calculated risks that I get growth over time, but I know I could be doing more. And while it may seem like a big risk to other people, to me, it doesn't feel like a risk at all. Doing a 23 city tour where I'm charging for events is a much bigger risk. And because I care so much about disappointing people and the fear of it, it means I'll bring myself to each event. It means that I'm going to over deliver. It means that whoever comes to each event is going to get insane value compared to any other equally priced ticket. I'm going to give everything of myself. And it's also the thing that I love the most. Working with entrepreneurs face to face is the thing that makes me come alive. It's great talking in front of a camera and seeing you guys in your living room or kitchen or bathroom or wherever you're watching this. But the one-on-one work, the face-to-face work is where things actually happen. And I'm on a mission to help people move from getting in their head to getting out there and taking action. From stop being such a thinker and a planner and being more of a doer. From turning your self-doubt into self-belief. That's what I'm doing. I'm coming to teach you all the stuff that I know of how I built my business and help you get out of your own way and start building 2019 to be the year for you. I'm great at it. It's what makes me come alive, and it's what makes the people who interact with me go off and then have life-changing experiences. But I'm still afraid. And so I decided, I'm ready. I decided that I'm ready. I'm ready to blow up. I'm ready to play a bigger game. 2019 will not look the same. 2019 is going to be a much bigger year for me than any other year that I've had. And that's scary, but it starts with that decision. And I want you to blow up too, if that's what you want. If you want to have a bigger impact, if you feel like you deserve more, if you feel like you know you're capable of more, that you've been playing small, that you've been hedging, if you're okay with that, great, keep your growth. I'm not judging you. But if you know you're capable of more and you've been playing small because you're afraid to disappoint people, it has to change. Decide to blow up. You haven't actually made a decision yet. You are hedging, you're coming up with excuses, you're coming up with reasons, all because you're afraid and you haven't actually decided. Here's what happens with the brain. When you are thinking about something that is bold, that is different, that is scary, your heart wants to do it. You're like, oh man, I would love to do that. It'd be so amazing if I could do that. But then your head gets in your way. Your head tells you all the reasons why you can't do that. Your head wants to keep you safe. Your head wants to protect you. Your head wants you to survive. And it doesn't want you to go off and do that scary thing. And so it's going to come up with all these logical reasons of why you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it because you don't have enough time, because you don't have enough resources, because you're not ready yet, you don't have enough skills, you don't have enough education. All of these are legitimate reasons, but they're just the surface level. Deeper down, it's just that you're afraid. And when you decide, when you say, I'm going to blow up, I'm going to go do this bold thing, I have to make this happen, then your head starts working for you. Where you command your head to say, brain, we're a genius up here. We are a genius. help me instead of hurting me. When you've decided with your heart that this thing must happen, now you can use your brain to help you figure out the how. Your heart will give you the why. Your brain will tell you the how. How am I going to do it? And you want to focus your head, your brain on the right directions, because up until now, if you haven't decided yet, your brain is helping you figure out how not to do it, right? How not to do it. That's what your brain is helping you out with. But once you've decided, now you command your brain to help you figure out how to do it. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you just get motivated, the sign says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We got to take action. But when you get motivated and then you create a specific plan of action for when and how you're going to do it, your number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like posting down here in the comments below, that number jumps to 95%. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so you can follow through and I can celebrate you.
I don't think there are bad people. I think there are people who are confused and people who are in a lot of pain. But I wouldn't want to brush a big stroke across some people and say, you're bad. These people are bad people. They're not. They're just in a lot of pain or they're confused. They don't have the self-awareness. And what ends up happening, think about when you've been in a lot of pain. When you've been in a lot of pain, have you always made the best decisions? Think about the stupidest things that you've done in your life, where you've hurt people, where you've let people down. Chances are you were reacting because you were in a lot of pain. I've seen this over and over and over again when I go through the who, I, how exercise with people from Built to Serve. The first part is who, which is figure out your most important core value. What is your single most important core value? And as I go through this exercise, we've done this with tens of thousands of people, it's always something positive. It's love, it's freedom, it's inspire, it's believe, it's family, it's connection, it's care. It's always something positive, always. I've never, ever, ever seen somebody's who, their most important core value, be something negative. I've just never seen it. It's never been death or hate. It's just never, that's not how we're wired. Human beings are good people. I'm convinced of it. They just either don't know their operating system, they don't know their who, their single most important core value, or they're in a lot of pain. Now you have to decide, okay, what's your reaction gonna be? So as a starting point, it's good for you to know your who, right? And you can pick up Built to Serve and it'll help you through it. But just think about, what's your single most important core value? Just think about it right now. You know, what is your most important core? If you had to pick right now, don't worry about being perfect. If you had to pick your single most important core value, what is it? Mine is believe. What's yours? Just knowing that gives you so much more clarity. If we're talking about having integrity, integrity to what? It's integrity to your most important core value. And we fight over different versions of it, right? Integrity to me is going to be different than integrity to Warren Buffett. It's going to be different than integrity to you. It's integrity to your most important core value. My integrity is to believe. Your integrity might be to freedom. And they're both positive and they're both aspirational and they both represent the best versions of us, right? My best evidence on the other side of more belief. Your best self is on the other side of more freedom or whatever your most important core value is. But they're not the same. Belief to me is not the same as freedom to you. They're close, they're similar, they're aspirational, they're positive, they're optimistic, but they're not exactly the same. So that's where you get into disagreements over integrity, because there's no one set of rules over what integrity even is. It's you living a life that is in integrity with your most important core value. If you're not happy in your life right now, it's because you are living inconsistently with what your who is. If I'm not happy right now, it's because I'm living inconsistently with what believe means to me. It's that I know that this is my operating system. I know that this is who I want to be, how I want to be acting. Everything I do should be with the lens of belief. That's what I should be doing. And if I'm not happy in any area of my life, it's because there's a lack of belief. Belief to do the next thing. If your who is freedom and you're not happy in life right now, it's because there's a lack of freedom somewhere in your life. You feel like You're at a job where you have no freedom to be creative. You're in a relationship where you have no freedom to express yourself. Like, there's a lack of freedom. And for you to live a life of integrity, it's to match what you want in terms of freedom with what's actually happening in your life and your daily habits. So that's why I think figuring out your who is one of the most important questions that you're ever going to do in your life, because that won't change. Because for me, belief is going to be with me for life. I'm going to be 120 years old, looking back and still trying to spread more belief. If anything, I'll just be more committed to it. As I get older and more confident and more wise and care less about other people's opinions, I'm only going to be more committed to it. And same thing for you whenever your who is. So you have to figure it out. And that's what integrity will ultimately come down to. You living in accordance to what your most important core value is.
If you want to learn how to get control of your life and get everything you ever wanted, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Saying I never have the time is the single greatest excuse that is preventing you from accomplishing your goals. You are not allowed to say it anymore.